Crate Pro 6 has hundreds of features which are designed for the custom creator to make them fast, efficient, get the job done accurately, and provide a great deal of information to help you in your creating business. In the interest of time, I'm only going to cover some of the main features, and if you haven't already, please set up a free presentation online and we'll look at what you're interested in doing with creating software and make sure it's a fit for you. Crate Pro has modules shown on the left-hand side. The top 4 are basically your production or working modules where you are designing your crates, you are providing your quotes, and getting your information. The bottom 4 modules are all for your setup and configuration of your own personal company preferences and pricing. When users log in, they will log into a home screen. The home screens are designed for different roles that a particular person in your company would play, such as the manager. What's the things that they need to see? What is it that they need to do in their role as the manager to get things done? Versus, for example, a foreman will need to see other things. Where are the product or designs that are out on the floor? Where are they and what stage of the production or process are they in? Based on the different roles, each of these different users is able to see a screen that has been specifically designed to help them in their daily job. The projects module is similar to your accounting system. This is where you would add any particular crate designs, choose by your customer, add any crates that you may have created or orders. This would add any crates that are specific to a customer. And this is where you can add items that are directly part of your inventory, which you would sell at a different rate than you would for materials that you might use in a crate. In all of these, Crate Pro gives you the ability to see your totals. Okay, if your customer is taxable, you'll have all of that information. You can change the quantities right here on this screen, so everything is updated. And if you wanted to override any calculated price, it's just a matter of going in the field and overriding it. Each of these tabs in the projects will provide different information. You'll get total overviews. You have a separation between the cost of your materials and your labor. You can schedule overtime. You can put in on-site. Again, you have complete control. You can see prices by individual line item. You can see a total amount of labor time. So if you are working on a very large project with a lot of different designs, you can set your staff accordingly based on when this order needs to be done. You get a lot of other information in here, and there are a lot of reports and things that you can print out your cut lists and so on right from here. The design module is where you will create your designs. How Crate Pro designs those is based on the information you put in all of the modules down here. It will take your information and create them. Well, we're going to create a new design, and there are different options at the top. There is a much more detailed video on the designs if you would like to see that, this particular module. Preferred are designs that you have gone through the style template and said, these are common construction methodology that we do, therefore we're going to make them preferred. But all of the crate styles are located in this menu here, and as we add more, this list will just continue to grow, and that's why we like to help you learn how to set up your own preferred styles to save time. If you build by any crating standards such as ASTM, Mil-Spec, British, Australian, German, and Russian, you can just use the simple cross-reference right here to go ahead and select the style from there. You have the ability to create templates. You can set them up a template by a customer, or you can just have a generic template that are used for any of your company, just a common crate style. Once you select a crate style to build, and we're just going to grab one right here, okay, this is a LPO 101, one of the most common styles. You can or you don't have to enter a customer name. It's completely up to you. You can or you don't have to fill in a description. If you don't, Crate Pro has a generic description starting with a letter and a set of numbers that it will increase incrementally. The only thing that you have to put in here are dimensions. Okay, that's it. You can do it by inside dimensions, or you can choose to do it by content dimensions, whatever you're more comfortable with. You don't have to change the quantity. You do not even have to enter the weight of the content. To make it simple and quick, Crate Pro in your preferences allows you to set your most common baseline for your base type. But to change it, it's just a matter of clicking in a field, and that way your base will now be modified based on what your new choice is. As far as the materials that you would use to build the crate, you have up to 5 individual material groups for every style family of crates that you can choose to build the exact same crate. You can name them whatever you would like to name them. Again, the only thing that was required were the dimensions. We've got a lot of other fields that we can tell CratePro about. We can enter more dimensions if we're going to be using any packing or padding or so on, but we'll go over those on a presentation for you to see it. Once you've entered your dimensions, you just click on Continue. It takes CratePro about 5 to 6 seconds to go through all of your settings, look at your preferences, and spit out the crate. You're going to start on each panel, and you can also choose which panel you want to be on. This version of CratePro is going to calculate your splicing for your plywood, and it will calculate support cleats if they're required based, again, on your particular settings. A lot of information you can provide to CratePro to allow it to decide or to build the crate that you would like it to build. Okay? CratePro will even calculate all the way down to the fasteners using your default baseline fasteners, but if you want to change anything, you can just click in the field and you can select a different fastener that you might use for that particular order. Changes in a design will only affect the design here. It does not change your baseline settings or your preferences. It's very simple. Again, CratePro is going to calculate the amount of time it's going to take to build this crate. You are going to be going through this to make sure the time is accurate for your company. So your prices then are going to reflect the cost of your materials. It's going to reflect your labor. It's going to affect whatever your markups or margin that you have set for your company. But you can always override, okay, anything that's in CratePro that's calculated for a particular customer. Okay? Our goal is to get it very accurate based on what your particular company does. In the design, CratePro 6 allows you to make changes in any of the fields. So if we make a change, and for example, our change in a material, as you know, will affect how the other components around that particular component will be calculated. So normally you go back to the Excel spreadsheet or the calculator and refigure out all of your other materials, their sizes, dimensions, costs, and so on. But when CratePro sees that you make a change based on this style, will affect the dimensions of any other tab, you're going to get a little light that tells you there's a possible mismatch. You can see the information here from the rules. We can run the rules, and CratePro will go through and it will recalculate those for you. On any lumber panels, you would just run the rule on the individual panel. By having CratePro recalculate, your prices have been updated, your labor times have been updated based on any changes that you just made with any of your other materials, and any of these fields can be changed. Okay. When you're done, you just lock that design. A nice advantage here is when you make changes by locking and unlocking this design, and it could be another staff member logs in, you're going to see the last person who locked the design, who they logged in, the date, and the time. The benefit in CratePro 6 is now if you look at the history, you can see the user that logged in, the computer they logged in at, and if any revision they made has changed either your prices, weights, or times. So if you don't see a note anywhere on this file about what has been changed, you can always go back to that person and say, what changed? What did you do? You can add this item now to a project, or if you're in a hurry, you can print your cut sheets and manage reports and style diagrams right from here. You can email things directly to the customer. This design module has a lot of other benefits, but we're not going to cover those right now. The inventory, let's look at a few of the things that you can set up in CratePro. In this version in inventory, whether you're using metric or you're using imperial, you have about 300 different items that are already pre-filled in for you, where we've already entered the thickness of the width, an average waste factor based on beta testers, average prep times and install times, and basically weights and so on. So you have a lot of pre-filled information at your fingertips. If there's anything that's not in this inventory that you want to go ahead and add, it's a simple matter of clicking on New and adding it. If you would like to rename any materials that are already in here, before you use it, you just go ahead and click in the item and you can choose to rename that material. You can even add services in here, which can then be added as a line item on your project and sent to your customer. The customer module, you can import your customers. You add their information in here. You can put in any special billing codes, but something really good is that you can add your additional labor markups or discounts for material or labor for that customer here, and CratePro will calculate it when that customer is selected. In this version, you also can add additional locations that you may pick up, ship to, or have a final for a particular customer. If you have any particular design templates that you have created for that customer, you can see those as well. If you have created any designs that are the customer name has been entered, you can see those as well. And you can always grab another design, jump to it, and duplicate it if you need to, and ask CratePro to update the pricing, weights, and times. If you've got projects working on that customer, you can see the status, where they are, and that way you can follow up and nothing falls by the wayside. Even though in your home module, if you have that permission, you can filter by all items or projects in a particular status. So if something is only in the quote and it's been there a while, you're going to find it and you will not lose it. There's a lot of sample data in CratePro, and staff members get their own privileges. You can decide who's able to log in to any of the manager's modules. You can decide if your staff can see prices or profits. You can decide if they can create designs or delete designs. So you again have control of what your staff can see. You set the role or what home screens your staff is able to access. A user is not limited to just one role. So if you have someone who is a foreman, but he's also the salesperson, you can check and give them both roles. Administrators can see everything. No matter what you select, they have access to all of it. Your preferences are very detailed. You're going to be putting in now your company information email, and if you have a secure email server, you now have the ability to put that in here. Your pricing is based on the different parts of the process. Even if it's the same person, if you pay different people for different prices, then you can change and set what are your hourly costs here. You set your billing to your customer. You could do it by markup or discount rates instead of cost versus billing. You can also add your override costs, change the terms. You can set your terms to appear on your quotes. Your materials can have also their own markups. You can have material markups as a group when it's used in a design, with a separate markup if you add it directly from the inventory as a separate line item outside of your crate. A nice thing about the inventory, every individual item or material, for example, that you have in here can also have a separate markup. You don't have to use your preference default. So if you have a particular material, wood, fastener, that's really more expensive to use, change that markup for what you would charge that customer. Your times are also, they're set by beta companies, okay, and the information that they provided. Don't expect that it's going to match right out of the box. Part of the configuration that we work with you on is to go ahead and get all of these times tweaked based on your company. And times are not just in the preferences. The inventory module also has a specific amount of time associated with every material. So as you go through different materials, you'll find that based on the material itself, we may have a different cut time, install time, prep time, and so on, which again are using real world times. You have the ability to add different equipment, which can have also different times associated with it from what's standard with your company. There are a lot of other settings in the program. Unlike CratePro 5, you can now indicate to CratePro about your undercuts and your values, how you would normally place materials such as skids and rub strips. You would also be able to say, what's the minimum dimension you would splice a piece of plywood at? Set your own numbers. Do you rotate the panel board or the plywood? So instead, previously CratePro would always calculate your material as 48 by 96 using imperial dimensions. So what if you want to rotate it? Because what if it's going to reduce the number of saw stops to calculate it as a 96 by 48? Well, you tell CratePro if you allow that. You set up your different material groups. And these material groups, of course, are based on the style family that you are in. So you can do it for each one separately. Styles, we work with you to set up your styles. You can give your styles their own name. So you don't have to use, okay, the basic name that comes with the program. You can set it up to call it custom style. You can call it for a customer. You can call it for a specific product, whatever you would like to do. You get to set your options now. What's the most common baseline when you come out of the gate and you select that style? But you already saw how easy it is to change it when you create the design. CreatePro gives you a lot of flexibility. It gives you an ability to create your quotes, your emails, your design documents, any invoices, anything that you would like. You have the chance to use the template and modify it. There's a lot of extra information that CreatePro allows you to work with, to change, and set up. This is a very brief overview of some of the features in CreatePro. Please email me at sales@cratepro.com if you would like to have a presentation for your company or for you to see how CreatePro works, and we can discuss the things that you're looking for. Thank you.